The 2025 NBA Finals matchup is set, so with time leading up to Game 1, it's only right to preview the series. Instead of an overall preview, I wanted to do one for each team to look at some of the areas where they've excelled or key areas that could play a role during the series. First, I'll take a look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are hoping to have a storybook ending to what has been a historic season. The Thunder started the year as the NBA's youngest team. Historically, that doesn't usually lead to success, but this group had other ideas. The NBA has been tracking play by play data since the 96-97 season. The Thunder outscored opponents by 12.7 points per 100 possessions in the regular season, which is the highest total in that nearly 30-year stretch. Though there is more. This is a list of the teams in that span who have a net rating of at least 9.5 points in either the regular season or playoffs, and the teams in gold went on to win titles that year. You might notice a lot of famous or notable teams here. There's a Jordan Bulls team, a year of the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, and multiple years of the Warriors' dominance. Though do you see that team in the far right? That's this year's Thunder team, and they've outscored opponents by over 11 points per 100 possessions so far these playoffs. So far, the only team since the NBA has tracked this to have a net rating over 10 in both the regular and postseason is the 2017 Warriors, so the Thunder not only have a chance to win a title, but to enter rare air as well. The Thunder are led by league MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who despite struggling from 3 of these playoffs, has been the player we've come to expect offensively. So far this postseason, over 60% of Shai's offensive possessions have come out of pick and roll or isolation. While the MVP is going to get to his spots in pick and roll, his performance out of isolation will be interesting to watch this series. This postseason, the Pacers have been the worst team defending isolation and isolation including passes on a per possession basis, which could allow Shai to create for others as well. Shai initially is operating out of pick and roll here, but after Christian Brown rotates back to the ball, SGA passes it to Lou Dort. Dort then sizes up Jamal Murray, but gets the ball back to him, and while Lou initially looks to set the screen, Shai wants the ISO. As he works downhill, notice that Jamal Murray, who is Dort's defender, is playing off him to help against a drive. Though as SGA gets to around the right elbow, Murray fully commits, and 2 on the ball can lead to a potential advantage. Shai passes it back out to Dort, and Aaron Gordon, who is initially defending Jalen Williams, understandably rushes to close out with 6 seconds left on the shot clock. However, this also leaves Williams wide open in the left corner. Dort makes the extra pass and gets it to Williams, who hits the wide open 3 to break the tie. Shai brings the ball up here and is defended by Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I'm not sure if you heard of this at all during the conference finals telecast, but these two are cousins. As SGA approaches the 3-point line, Jalen Williams comes over to set a ghost screen, and as he works to the left slot, you can see Shai telling him to spread out. SGA is now in isolation against Nickeil, but Jaden McDaniels is playing off Jalen Williams here to play a potential drive. Given his positioning, this speaks to Shai's ability to get downhill going left, where he's also incredibly efficient. The lost in this is that as a result of Jaden doing this, Williams, who had been on fire this game, is wide open on the perimeter. Shai doesn't even start working downhill, but as McDaniels is watching him, makes the quick pass to Jalen. This makes for a very long closeout for McDaniels, and while he did fall asleep here, the threat of Shai even getting downhill helped create this look, and J-Dub makes the defense pay by hitting the 3. Another interesting wrinkle is that the Thunder this postseason have relied on more possessions coming off cuts, which is another area where the Pacers have struggled defensively through the first 3 rounds. Jalen Williams gets the steal here and initially tries to push the pace, but eventually pulls it back and resets the offense by passing it to Isaiah Hartenstein. This is noteworthy, as the Pacers have been very good in defending transition these playoffs. Though Williams pushing the pace didn't allow the Nuggets defense to get set, as you now see Jamal Murray defending Chet Holmgren, Nikola Jokic on Williams, and Aaron Gordon on Lou Dort. Shai gets into pick and roll with Hartenstein, and after the pass on the short roll, you can see Denver's in a bind, as Jamal Murray rotates to stay in front of the ball. Chet Holmgren's cutting from the dunker spot, but Gordon defending Dort can't fully commit to the cutter as Hartenstein could pass it out for an open 3. This wasn't a transition possession, but pushing the pace helped make it happen, This is interesting to note given that the Pacers have struggled defending cuts, as this resulted in the pocket pass that leads to a Chet dunk. Given the era of basketball we're playing in and the Thunder's incredible net rating these playoffs, many might assume they're also shooting the lights out from three. However, that hasn't been the case. As a team, they've shot just under 34% from deep, but have gotten pretty good looks. While some could be a result of players being dared to shoot or creating looks playing against a lot of zone, nearly 60% of the Thunder's attempts from three off the catch have been considered open. However, the contested threes have been a bigger issue. As a team, Oklahoma City shot 35% on threes off the catch considered contested in the regular season. So far these playoffs, that number is just 26%. Three-point shooting variance always plays a role in a game or series, but this is even more important in a series against a team looking to push the pace off every miss. Which brings us to the biggest point of this finals. In one corner, we have the Pacers offense that is always looking to push the pace and rarely turns the ball over. On the other side, we have a Thunder defense that wreaks havoc, can throw numerous defenders at you to pressure the ball, forces turnovers at a ridiculous rate, and also limits opportunities in transition. Given that Chet Holmgren missed both games these teams played in the regular season, it will also be interesting to see how often the Thunder resort to the lineups with him and Isaiah Hartenstein. Granted, a 16-game sample is still small, though of the Thunder's four-man lineups that have played 40 or more minutes together these playoffs, these are the top 10 in net rating. None of them feature the two big men playing together, so it will be interesting to see how often they share the floor against a Pacers team that tends to go smaller. Though we know about the Thunder's defensive talent, there are a couple interesting notes given what we know about the Pacers' offensive strengths. Given Oklahoma City's defensive prowess and that they don't turn the ball over much either, they have spent just under 14% of their defensive possessions guarding what is considered transition these playoffs, but have been above average in that regard, though their mix of hustling back, quick hands, and length can help play a part in creating turnovers here. The Thunder's ridiculous numbers as a half-court defense is another reason I think teams can struggle against them in transition, as some opponents can feel even if it's a tough shot, getting to them early in the shot clock is the best chance they'll have. Anthony Edwards is bringing the ball up here, and with the Thunder defense not fully set, this would be considered a transition opportunity. Edwards passes it to Julius Randle, who's being defended by Isaiah Joe. Given the size advantage here, you'd think Randle might try and play some of his signature bully ball, but he also sees Lou Dort around the top of the key, rushing to the left corner, and swings it there to Mike Conley. However, by the time Conley gets the ball, Dort is already there to close out, so any advantage the Wolves would have is gone. Given the time remaining on the shot and game clock, you'd think the point guard in his 18th year would figure it's best to reset, try to get into a decent look, and still get another possession before halftime. While there's some questionable decision making here, it also highlights how quickly the Thunder can eliminate a potential advantage in transition, as Conley misses the highly contested step-back three. Pickup point has become a popular phrase these playoffs, and don't be surprised if you hear it often during the finals. Essentially, the pickup point is where a defense decides to apply pressure on the ball or an opposing player. This will be an interesting dynamic for the Thunder, as doing this could force the Pacers to take longer to get into their offense, prevent Tyrese Haliburton from initiating a possession and have someone else bringing the ball up, or at least force him to exert energy. The Thunder have multiple defenders such as Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace, and Lou Dort, who they would be comfortable throwing at Haliburton. And it's also worth noting that the Pacers, when facing a press this postseason, have struggled on a per-possession basis. The Thunder have two defenders on Mike Conley as he catches the ball here, though this possession also speaks to their defense as a whole. Isaiah Joe picks up Conley full court, and notice there's 18 seconds left on the shot clock as he crosses half court. The veteran point guard then passes it to Rudy Gobert to set up the two-man game, but there's now 13 seconds left on the shot clock before the Timberwolves have even gotten into their offense. Conley gets Chet Holmgren switched onto him in pick and roll, and while it looks like a potential advantage with Gobert rolling, look how quickly Chet and Shai both rotated to the ball. Gobert's then forced to pass out of the double team to Julius Randle in the right corner, where Jalen Williams quickly closes out on him. Though with 8 seconds left on the shot clock, has little time to operate. The Thunder got blown out in this particular game, but their ability to apply ball pressure, along with their switching and rotating, was on display on this possession, as Randall misses the tough fadeaway jumper. On paper, the Thunder are in great shape heading into these finals. They're fully healthy, and some actions they utilize heavily on the offensive end have been weaknesses for the Pacers' defense this postseason. On top of that, the Thunder, like Indiana, are also very comfortable playing in transition and limiting turnovers offensively. In an NBA where a team's defense is as good as its weakest link, Oklahoma City's in fantastic shape. While the Pacers' offense is fantastic and very tough to stop, if there's a team who can counter it, this is the one. They have numerous defenders they could throw at Haliburton, and the Pacers' guards have shown they can limit transition opportunities, pressure full court, and have a mix of versatile players to counter any lineup. The Pacers have shown they have plenty of counters offensively, and the Thunder's three-point shooting can be a bit shaky, so anything can happen, though it's easy to see why the Thunder have been so dominant all regular and postseason, and are just 4 wins away from not only a championship, but having a season that's among the best the NBA's ever seen. If you made it this far, thank you, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on my in-depth analysis throughout the 2025 NBA playoffs.